Hey everybody, welcome back to more Messiah. I'm still Negaroth. I just felt like showing off something that Jamie the D pointed out in the thread, that if you listen close enough you can actually hear that behemoth snoring behind the force field. There are actually a lot of little details like that throughout the game, but I only point that out because, well, this upcoming section is not that long, I'd say. It can be a bit difficult. Thankfully though, we have our trusty welder here to help us through. And what do we have to get through? Well, this is what could be, I think it's called Conveyor Belt Hell. And as you can guess, it's a lot of platforming and a lot of conveyor belts. It can actually be fairly difficult if you're not yet accustomed to the jumping mechanics of the game yet, but if you're at this point in the game and you're still sucking at jumping, then you should probably stop playing. But what we are going to do is escort this little plate of metal, I suppose, through this conveyor belt and use it as a platform to jump over these laser grids. I don't think they are instant death, but we do need to jump over them, and I do want to hold on to our welder body for just a little bit longer. Also, I just wanted to look at some of the science, as I don't even know what the point of this machine is, so let's get going. But waiting around the corner here, we can see, well, it looks like a jet engine and two cops waiting for us. So let's press the red button. Tee, I'm a naughty little minx. But I guess I shouldn't be so happy about murdering people, but whatever. They probably would have shot me if I finger banged them. I don't know. The AI is amazing. But actually, that's the end of this section, so, you know, since this particular area is so small, I figured I would go ahead and show off, well, the next section, the weapon factory, which is right across this moving platform here. Needless to say, it might seem like there is a bit of an odd transition, but that's entirely due to the game. It just kind of puts you into a loading screen and then drops you off immediately into the next area. We pretty much immediately already have a message from the devil. Just talking about, you know, all the glorious weapons here and how he's apparently going to run for president now that Father Prime has been mysteriously murdered. But even as president of the world, it's still up to us to take down Satan, even if he does, well, win, I guess. But it's time to get your news on by hopping into the body of the scientist and making our way through what is called the weapons factory.
This great land, succeeding the Honorable Father Prime after his sudden, unannounced resignation. A new dynamic personality has picked up where he left off. In an unexpected landslide vote, this newcomer came on the scene with fierce determination. His unwavering persuasion and crystal clear vision of our future won him the unquestioning approval of this chamber. For security reasons, his identity will remain anonymous until his inauguration on Outpost 6 later this week. This message brought to you by our ambivalent leader, Father Darkness.
Father Darkness, eh? That certainly sounds evil or racist. Either way, it seems that, well, he's not going to be here, and we're going to have to get that Outpost 6 to take care of him. Now, for some reason, that room right there is fairly odd. For some reason, one of those particular light cops just has a hatred towards scientists and wants to kill you and call you a retard. But thankfully, if you run through quick enough, you can get into this room and test out some weaponry. It seems pretty dangerous and safe. Uh-oh, it has malfunctioned. but it's pretty easy to dodge. You just gotta duck. Or in the case of Bob, just be really short. Thankfully though, we have another lonely scientist waiting down here. We're gonna use him because we need to press a button and not get shot. I actually do like the overall look of the weapons factory. I mean, yeah, it still has the normal metallic look about it, but it's pretty straightforward about what everything is. I mean, what is up? Behemoth Destroyer machine factory thing? Well, what this machine does is that it creates a Mauser, or a Macer? I thought Mauser had like a U in it, but either way, it is a weapon specifically created to combat behemoths in case they go ass crazy. And it seems that Satan wants to congratulate us on our new, really huge weapon. Oh ho ho, impotence is hilarious. But he is actually pretty much correct. Right now, we're not actually even able to fire the Mauser. Instead, we're going to have to find some way to power it up. Thankfully, that is actually not too difficult to find in this, what could be semi-confusing as a weapons factory. Thankfully, though, I have a fairly good idea of where to go. In this hallway here, though, I do want to point out I actually do like the rain effect. And there's a thunder and lightning effect. It's actually pretty nice, considering. I mean, considering the overall weather effects so far have been nothing, so, you know. But what we want to do is take a ride down to the basement, because that is where the charging station is going to be. And I do want to take out this cop here, except things don't exactly go to plan.
Let's go.
It's actually really hard to do the stealth kill on a moving target. In fact, it's pretty much impossible. And as you can expect, melee on a poorly armored NPC really isn't the best thing to do. Also, that scientist decided to be a dick and show off, well, it's not going to be as easy as walking across that bridge. It's not going to be easy at all, in fact. But first I want to try and take a pot shot at one of these guys up here. Because now that we've gotten their attention, they will probably keep shooting at us. Especially whenever we actually make our way over to that scientist. But how do we do that? Well, there's a waiting door down here. And what I can only explain to be what is probably the most annoying set of platforming yet in the game. Thankfully, that position will be usurped in the next area, or the next video I should say. And for right now though, I mean, it may seem like, well, these are kind of easy platforms to get to. You just have to remember the controls in this game are absolute shit. I mean, the targeting is next to impossible. The shadow, which you would normally assume would be a good target or means of targeting the platforms, is, well, really impossible to see. And you can only hope for the best, because as far as I know, Bob will not grab onto the sides of these pistons. I mean, it's kind of easy for the most part, but pretty much that larger platform you see in the distance there, it has a very weird travel pattern, I suppose. If you wait for it to come directly up to the piston you're currently on, you won't get enough height and you'll miss it, and you really don't assume that you'd have to make a long distance jump, but you do. Thankfully though, after making that one particular difficult jump, making it look easy I should say, all we have to do is make our way over to this pipe and we're done with that annoying platforming section. There's only going to be one more annoying section left in this particular area, and it's a lot worse than you think. Now the thing is, I can see that cop up there is targeting me, and I really don't want to lose the scientist because I think I need him. gonna try my best to take care of this cop. Now, there are a number of options you can do. I was hoping I could just electrocute him, but considering he's actually pretty well armored, that's really not going to do enough damage. So I was hoping I could drop him down here and just drop him to his death, but no, that bastard is really resilient. Apparently he just really hated that scientist, so well, I got nothing else to do but just hop back into his body and hope that he can operate some of these complicated buttons. And thankfully he actually can, so hooray to that, because we're actually going to need someone a little bit more well armored for some upcoming sections. But for right now, we just need to go pick up the Mauser. Or keep wanting to call it like Mace or something else, because I know it's not Mauser. Yeah, all we have to do is bring it over to the charger and charge it up. Well, that was certainly a whole shit ton of green sciencey beam bullshit. But now we have a fully upgraded Mauser, or the fully charged up Mauser. And what are we supposed to do with it? Well, there was actually a door that was previously locked. You may remember that particular room that I rushed through with like 3 light cops in it, one of whom was unnecessarily pissed off at me. Well, we're actually going to be heading back up there. Because now a previously locked door is unlocked. I do not even know what the fuck you're doing, but I'm going to leave you alone. You obviously have some kind of PTSD or something, but... So we head out into this larger courtyard here. We got another message from Satan. He's just filling us in on the fact that what we're running into next are actually not normal behemoths, but instead armored behemoths. And armored behemoths, as we'll be seeing in just a little bit, are so annoying. Unless you have something very specific. But before we have to deal with the armored behemoths, we actually have to make sure, well, the arena we fight the first one in is pretty much open to us. First, that's going to require lowering the laser field, or plasma wall. Next, it's going to require, well, a little bit of forethought. Now, normally you wouldn't even pay attention to this guy, considering that, well, he's just kind of overlooking a empty open room. But, well, the thing is, we are going to want to take him out, because we're going to be running through that room later, and for some reason, no matter what body we are in, whenever we run through that room, they will always start opening fire on us. So... normally, you would want to just do like a silent kill on him, make it quick, but for some reason they always want to talk to you and they'll always try to turn and face you, so it becomes a little bit tedious. Either way though, you do not want to open fire because you really don't want to get this guy's attention. Because the thing is, if you get reverted back into Bob, you're not really going to have a way to use the Macer. And that'll prove to be a very disadvantageous in the future. Thankfully, I'm able to maneuver this guy a little bit better. Well, after a while, I'll maneuver him a little bit better. There we go. Good night, sweet prince. Alright, so now we can go deal with the armored behemoth. It's actually pretty tricky if you don't know about these two guys. You'll pretty much be ripped to shreds, because they are very, very accurate. and where we're actually going to be heading, but if you, well, we're going to be heading back to the beginning of the conveyor belt area. And yeah, that is the Macer. It has only one use, and that's killing those guys. Otherwise, well, it won't really hurt anyone. And you do not want to go toe-to-toe with these guys. You really want to take advantage of the environment here, because they will just rip you to shreds very quickly. Thankfully, there is a bit of a blast AoE on the beam itself, so you don't have to be terribly accurate, but you do want to be very careful. So I'm fairly certain you can take down this helicopter. Come on. Come on, baby, I know you want to. Apparently not. But I think there's, yep, there's one more in the far, actually? Yeah, there he is. Oh, there he was. Yeah, basically, if you are Bob in this area, you are not getting past these guys. They cannot be possessed, and one more try for the helicopter. Hooray! Murder. But yeah, with that, we are actually done with the weapons factory. And we'll get one more message from Satan. He's just gonna say, "Good job. Glad you murdered all those people. But you're just the same as me. We're both evil, blah 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 blah." And blood is tasty, apparently. But, you know, with that, we'll see you next time for more Messiah and a shit ton of platforming.